Does language matter?
I think language matters in everything that we do in life, and particularly in relation to disability.
It definitely is language I don't like, but for the most part, I find people to be quite good.
I'm not particularly fussed about language. On a personal level, what terminology is used doesn't really bother me.
People can use language to really build someone up or knock someone down. Like sometimes I might be called, oh, the girl with the one arm. You know, I have a name.
Language is a reflection of our attitudes. My rule of thumb is if it hurts someone who I love, then it's not okay.
I think the language around disability is incredibly important. I think people shouldn't be too nervous about the way they speak about disability or the language they use.
Sometimes I write deaf with disability.
Language can tell an awful lot about a person, and it can also tell an awful lot about how the person is coping with the disability.
People with disabilities, at the end of the day, are people, and I don't see why you have to pigeonhole them.
I tend to write people with disability instead of disabled person.
It's not about disability, it's about ability, it's about the potential.
The more people talk about disability, the better in my eyes.
I don't actually think the words are critical if people aren't trying to almost pigeonhole the individual.
Still, society can focus on what they can't do, which seems unfair.
As in seeing the person for who they are, then we will use the right language.
But for me, there is, I think I'm more concerned about the intention.
In terms of the language and the phrases, I guess it's the same language and phrase you use for anyone. Just you talk to a person, not the disability.
I'd rather you ask the person than pussyfoot around or be hesitant and then end up using terminology or not getting across the message that you want.
Overthinking language is probably where we fall into the pitfall of making people uncomfortable around disability.
We need to continue that move by changing our views and our language so that the public sees ability instead of the shortcoming we're talking about.
It's not really integrated into society yet, different ability or whatever, but hopefully it will in a few years, you know. There won't be a disability anymore. It'll just be everyone's unique and everyone has a different ability.
What words or phrases do you like or dislike?
The word disability itself, I'm not too fond of, because I don't really see myself as having a disability.
Patient, sufferer, service user.
I don't like the word handicapped.
I don't like the term hearing impaired because it implies that the person is impaired.
I don't like the word disabled.
I really do not like the word suffers from. Autism is not a disease that you can catch and is debilitating in itself. I think you have autism if you are suffering from anything. It's from society's attitudes, it's from being excluded, it's from not getting the services and education that you need, but you don't suffer from autism.
I don't like the word disability. I feel like it's really harsh because I just think that I have an ability, not a disability. I have a difference, not a disability. And I don't like the word blind either because I'm not blind, I can see.
My grandson, in this particular case, happens to have an extra chromosome, just the way he is. He has blue eyes, he has blonde hair, and he has an extra chromosome. He is not Down syndrome, and I absolutely hate that expression. He has Down syndrome.
I like the word ability. I'm not sure if that's to do with disability. And I like the word believe.
Empowered, inspired.
I like super in relation to my children. I think that they are super able.
Difference, I think difference is a great word. It's something everyone can associate with. And there's this big thing, that everyone's different and that's kind of what makes us all the same, and difference is cool. It's cool in everything in life. So that's one word that I really do love.
A little advice.
My piece of advice for people on communicating with people with disabilities is to treat them the same as everybody else. And don't be worried about saying the wrong thing or the right thing. Just say what you feel and what you think. If you want to ask questions, ask them.
And you need to listen, to put yourself in a different place, to open yourself up. So that's what I would say. For me, listening is the most important thing.
Work with them. That's all I'd say, because it covers everything. If you talk to them, not at them, and you work with them, you'll overcome any barriers.
I think to be honest and to say, I don't know anything about X, can you tell me what's the easiest way for me to communicate about this?
I would say don't be afraid, because if you're afraid of what people will think of you, then you're never going to get anywhere in life, because you're always going to have those situations where people are going to look at you and you're going to be in the spotlight. So just try to step out of your comfort zone, because the more you step out of your comfort zone, the easier it'll get for you and the easier it'll get talking about it. And it can be very hard to talk about to different people, but the more you do it, the easier it'll get.
It's very individual for everybody, but what I found is if I can tell people what it's like for me, that they've got better understanding, because we're not our disability. So we're very much people managing whatever disabilities that we have. So I would say to everybody, how would you like to be treated?
I think once you remember that you're just talking to a person or about a person, that's all you really need to know, and just it's the ability to ask those questions that will change this whole stigma that we have around disability. So just be yourself and remember you're talking to a person.